yourself. Go down. Go down. Go down. You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing.
Then that shows that you're a neophyte in boxing. You know nothing about boxing.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass. But you still got 4 losses, son. Easy breeze, baby. You better not duck me, son. You better not duck me, son.
We are the heavyweight. We don't pull any punches. Round 1, fight!
Welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers, alongside me will be Rudy Gutierrez and Robert Alexander. Tonight we do have a special show. We were supposed to have Mauricio Herrera along with Hammer and Hank Lundy, but it appears Mauricio Herrera is unavailable, so we will still have Hammer and Hank Lundy. But how is it going, Hammer and Hank?
Oh, man, nothing but hard work out here in camp. You know, everybody come to Vegas to party, man. We working hard.
Good to hear. I got to start off right away, man. Definitely you had some interesting things come up as of recently. Your really close fight with Delorme. And then you also have your Hollywood shine going on with your signing on to Creed, the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be exciting, man, especially, being from Philly, Rocky Philly.
Yeah, most definitely, that was a big thing. They actually came to my fight, when I fought, and, it was another blessing for me, I'm happy to be in the movie,
All right, thank you, guys. Rob, you can go ahead and ask Cameron Hank a question. I got Herrera man on the other line.
All right. Hank, how's training camp going?
Training's going wonderful. We working hard, man. Like I said, man, I'm already in shape, so I'm just waiting, for the fight.
Right. And is this your first time fighting in L.A.?
Yeah, first time fighting in L.A., but, I'm going to make it my home, everywhere I
Definitely.
home.
Definitely. We're looking forward to a big show coming out for you. This is going to be televised by HBO. You're not shy from HBO either with your last fight. Did you think you won that last fight, though, against Delorme?
Oh, most definitely I did. I took the stronger round. Did what I had to do, But I feel as though, it should have been a 12-round fight, but, only thing I could do is sit back and learn from it and move forward. I feel as though I won it, but one of the judges had it otherwise.
Right. And Rob,
Rob, don't mean to cut you off, Rob, but we also have everybody together now. Herrera's also on the line. But, guys, I got first question directed towards you, Lundy. Have you seen Herrera's fight with Benavidez or with Andy Garcia?
Yeah,
and if so, did you have him ahead?
Okay. I watched both of them. The last one, I'm going to keep it real. I felt as though, the guy poured it out. But against the Danny Garcia fight, he got in there. I'm going to keep it real.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that's the way I saw it. I definitely saw Herrera ahead, but appreciate you keeping it, real with us. And, Herrera, I'm going to come to you with a similar question. Did you see Lundy's recent fight with Delorme? It was really close fight. Did you?
No, I've seen clips of it. I don't know if they have the whole fight on YouTube. But I watched some clips here and there. So I don't really know how close it was. But I hear Lundy did real good the second half of the fight. And some people say he pulled it out. That was a close fight. So the guy has close fights like me, and we're not that easy to beat. So I think I think that's what makes us exciting fighters.
Definitely, and I could agree to that for sure. Now your last couple of fights, your tough ones that you had decisional losses to, for Danny Garcia and Benavidez, had both they were both power type hunters, whereas you're going to now be facing a more well-rounded guy, not necessarily super powerful or super fast, but just more well-rounded like yourself. What do you need to do to come out with the victory over Hank?
I just need to be smart. I think Lundy's is the perfect match for me. I think it's going to come at a perfect time. With the LA Sports Arena, closing down. My style is can go both ways as well as his. Just who's gonna be able to take advantage of the other guy's weakness, and who's prepared. The hardest. And whoever's training hard in camp and wants it the most, is gonna pull it out that day.
All right. Thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and pass you guys on to another rider now, Robert Alexander. Rob, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, sorry. That's okay, Hank. My question, first and foremost, is for both of you guys. First and foremost, I want to know how each of you feel about headlining possibly one of the last boxing shows to ever be held at LA Sports Arena. Herrera, if you want to go first, being from LA.
I just finished reading the paper right now. It's a pretty big deal. I hear that 4 days after that arena was built and opened there was a boxing match, and it was a Mexican guy going with a French guy, and it was the first Mexican champion. I think it was a bantamweight, and he had old fighters there. You had Sugar Ray Robinson, Olivares, Bobby Chacon. You had all those guys there that fought in that place. So, being that we're gonna be the last fighters to shut that place down, the last boxing match there. I think it has to be something special. So, I'm training for a spectacular night, and I think that it's just that extra motivation to give people a big show and something special before so they can remember the last fight that was held there.
Right, and Hank, I know me and you just spoke on it. You said this is your first fight there in LA, but you're looking to make it your home. What are your thoughts about fighting in the famous LA Sports Arena?
Well, this is my first time ever being there in LA, and my first time fighting at this spot. But, one thing and foremost, when you have Hammer and Hank on the card, this is going to be a great show. What I'm going to do, I'm going to come in, shut it down. There's going to be great memories, especially from a Hammer and Hank fight. Then, move on from there.
Okay. And my next question, also for both guys here. Many people are treating this fight, as an East Coast versus West Coast clash. How do each of you feel in regards to repping your home turf? Hank, I'm going to let you take this one first, coming from Philly.
Well, it's kind of like a grudge match, a blood match, because, he has a win, in my book over Philadelphia Fighter. And, in my eyes, like, once again, man, I don't lie, man. I keep it 100, and I'm looking at him as the world champ, and this is my championship fight, and what I'm going out there to do is show the world that Hammer and Hank is ready to be the world champion of the world, and I'm going to beat Mauricio Herrera and show the world, why, I should continue to be, stay on the big stage, this is a real good fight, and I'm coming to bring it.
Okay. And Herrera, how do you feel about, it being your home turf with him coming in from the East Coast?
I don't really look at that stuff. I mean, we're fighters at the end of the day, and I just look at Lundy and who he is as a fighter, and we're both just fighters in there in the ring, and that entertain the people. But at the end of the day, I have my eyes set on Lundy, and not only that, I feel this could easily be my third title defense, after Danny's fight. So Hank is right. If he sees me as a world champion, I also feel like I'm a world champion. So, if I want to keep seeing people in the real boxing fans' eyes that I beat Danny and I should be world champion, then I got to treat it that way too and go in there with 100%.
Okay. And my next question here is also directed at you, Herrera. Lundy is most dangerous when coming off of a loss. His past history, he pretty much goes on a winning streak or builds up a nice winning streak after he has a loss. That shows a lot of motivation and a lot of hunger. Are you at all worried, that he may be at his best shape, at his best game coming off of a loss?
No, I want him to come in his best shape and be the best Hank Lundy, on that night. Because, like I said, that night's going to be something special. And there's no excuses. I mean, we both had enough time to train, so we're both ready. So Hank, I know Hank's been training for a while, so I think that counts, and it's going to be making for better fights. The fans, it's all everything. The timing's perfect for both of us in the right setting with the LA Sports Arena, and both of us there. No excuses. We're both trained very hard, and maybe he's coming off a loss and was motivated to come back stronger. I'm coming off a robbery, so I think that makes us both motivated to really set things straight. So Hank better be ready. We're both going to give it a good show.
Okay, and then Hank, my next question then would be directed at you. Coming that you've been on the show before, and you've been on other shows and pretty much everywhere calling out all the top dogs in the division. With you saying you consider this being, a championship fight and one of the fights at the level that you hold high. With that being said, there has been, in your concern, you felt that there has been a little trash talking going on. How do you feel towards trash talking, and how do you feel about the level that you're in fighting Mauricio Herrera?
Oh, well, once again, I'm just letting the world know, this is my passion, Like most of these guys, they're not fighting for nothing, All Hammer and Hank is doing is fighting for a better life, for the kids. And if I got to go out there and lay it all on the line, lay my life down on the line, for my kids, that's what I'm going to do. Most of these guys, they think when they hear me talking, I'm just, I'm being arrogant. But no, I'm fighting for something. This is what is in my heart. This is what I'm coming out to do. And once I state something, I mean it. If I'm going to get the job done, I'm going to do it,
Right. Mauricio, are you ready to go toe-to-toe with Hammer and Hank if it has to?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're going to have to give an exciting fight. I mean, whatever Hank wants to do, I'm going to adjust and figure out a way to make it entertaining so that people are going to want to see. I want to leave a great memory in that place, and that's why I'm training real hard. I mean, I know Hank Lundy, is coming to fight. I mean, he's training his ass off. Like he says, he wants to feed his family, same like me. So every fighter does, and we all come well prepared. This is going to be one of the, I think it could be Fighter of the Year. I think, Hank could be that, it could be that gaudy award. I mean, he has similar style as me, and when we put those two together, I think something special will happen.
Okay. So this next question also directed towards you then, Herrera. With that being said, and you're prepared for a war and it being another possible Fight of the Year candidate, in the past you have been fighting aggressive fights and you haven't been able to sway the judges with it, or you've been getting robbed. Does that change your style from being a little less aggressive and maybe more boxing towards Hank?
No, I think Hank's a different fighter from the most guys that I fought. I think, being the fights that I've seen, he's not afraid to exchange. I mean, he's from Philly. He'll get down and trade with you. And I think that's going to make it a great fight. And I think we both have that style. I think I can use aggressive. I can box a little, be tricky, and have a lot of head movement inside. I've been working on a lot of things. But I think at the end of the day, he makes it for a great show.
Okay, and then Hank, we talked also a little bit about your new role in the new movie Creed. Has that taken away from your training at all?
No, most definitely it didn't. That was done, way back in, January, February. They just caught me, and mentioned it, but the filming for that, been done. So, I've been in the gym ever since that, training hard and waiting for a phone call.
Okay. So, Herrera, are you at all feeling like maybe that the movie role has gotten to Hank's head, or do you feel that he's going to be ready and prepared for you?
No, I didn't even know what he was doing in movies or anything. I mean, I'm just getting ready for 100% Hank Lundy. I mean, whatever anybody tells me, I won't believe. All I believe is that Hank is hungry, and I got to get ready for a hungry guy. So I'm preparing myself 100% and worry about what I'm going to do. And I think just can't wait for July 11th. I think it's going to be a great night.
Well, we certainly definitely agree. My last question will be for both guys. I'll start with you, Herrera. What does Hank need to worry about on that night in July about facing you?
Everything. I think I'm gonna. He's gonna see new things. I think I'm gonna be somebody different for that he's never seen before. I'm just gonna have a quicker jab, a powerful jab. He's gonna see right hands. He's gonna see body punches. He's gonna see great defense. It's gonna overwhelm him. I think there's gonna be a lot of things that he hasn't seen. It's gonna be he can forget about all the videos he's seen of me because I think it's a new Herrera coming out there that night.
And Hank, any final words here for Herrera?
I'll put it like this. I hear you talking, but what will you do when you're in a room and it's all fire, no escape route? The only way out is death. How would you predict, getting out of that situation? It ain't no getting out. It's death, and that's what I'm coming for. I'm coming for your soul.
Well, we'll fight him to the death then.
All right, there you hear, folks. They both sound ready to me. Lucas, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Lucas? Okay, guys, it appears that Lucas has stepped away. There we go.
Rudy, did you have any questions for Herrera or for Lundy?
I think Rob pretty much asked everything I had in mind. I just want to congratulate both Hank Lundy and Mauricio Herrera for having the opportunity to give boxing fans around the world and here in LA a great show. I wish both of them best of luck. They're both friends from the heavy bag, and make the best man win.
Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, we definitely appreciate both you guys coming on the show. We know you both lay it all out on the line, and you both have been on the bad end of decisions, especially as of late. So hopefully this one there is no screw jobs, no bad decisions. It comes down to how it's supposed to. And we both know that you guys are all going to lay it on the line. So we definitely appreciate you guys coming on the show.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. Heavy bag. Thanks.
Appreciate it. No problem.
Thank you. Both best of luck, and we'll see you guys in the ring.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right. Now to move on to some other topics. Definitely a great interview, though, I got to say. Hank definitely sounds amped and saying he was coming for his soul. That made me even more hyped for this fight, and I'm very excited for it. I know you guys are as well, but Rob, I'm gonna come to you guys here talking about Miguel Cotto and this whole catchweight situation. Is it a double standard that we're getting upset for the whole Miguel Cotto catchweight situation when it happens all the time with Pacquiao and Mayweather? Rudy?
What's up, guys?
What's up?
I just wanted to make sure, because, I had Lundy on the line. I just wanted to make sure that, Lundy was off the line there. But I like what, what both guys said at the end there. I like what, especially Herrera said, all right, then, let's fight to the death. So we might have ourselves a barn burner when it, comes to that fight, especially at the L.A. Sports Arena. Rudy, has there been a lot of talk there in L.A. about that card?
I mean, two boxing fans in general. I mean, they're talking about this fight. I've seen a couple of billboards here and there, but I mean, it's definitely a fight that maybe the occasional boxing fans aren't aware of, or probably not too interested in. I mean, that's just obviously the reality when it comes down to boxing. In my inner circle, I mean, we're excited. We're excited for this fight. I mean, hopefully we're going to be there, present live. I mean, I live, probably top 4 miles away from the LA Sports Arena. So I mean, it's going to be great. It's good for the city. I mean, we have, LA Fight Club, the La Hoya's LA Fight Club here in downtown LA. The Velasco Theater, it's not that far away from probably, again, maybe a couple of 2-3 miles away from the sports arena. So it's good for fight fans here in LA. We're definitely getting a lot of boxing, in addition to all the boxing that we get in the StubHub Center.
Lucas, what's your take on, I kind of tried to stir the pot a little bit. Lundy there at the end gave us a little, he gave us a nice little go there, nice little spill, while Herrera, he was trying to keep it very professional, trying to keep it professional, not wanting to go that route. I just think that speaks, of the two different personalities that you're dealing with, being as Hank was out and about and trapping in the streets. And, Herrera sounded like he might have been at the gym.
Yeah. We've had both guys on the show before. We know Herrera's more low-key, and Lundy's very outspoken. And you could tell, I mean, obviously he was in his car as well, so he's just living life. He's being him. I don't know if he was just getting out of the gym, too, so I don't want to say that he's not training or doing his thing, but I think it's just two completely different types. And for Lundy, I mean, I know he's going to be ready. He's a gym rat, so he's constantly in the gym. Even if he doesn't even have a fight anywhere in the works, he lives that kind of boxer's life. Do see a call coming in here. Take a call from a caller here. Caller, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hello, you're on the air.
Hey, it's Hector.
Oh, hey, what's going
on? What's up, Hector? Hey, Hector.
Hey. How you guys doing?
Not bad. Glad to have you on the show, man. But so we just got done with the interview. Very good interview, and like I said, I definitely think it's going to be one hell of a fight. But let's kind of steer the conversation now into more of boxing news. So as I was talking to Rudy, before you cut out there, Rob, we are talking about the Miguel Cotto catchweight situation. I think a lot of people are making a big deal out of it. So I want to get your take on it. You're a Cotto fan, and I want to get your take on it because, nobody really bats an eye when Mayweather and Pacquiao do it, but people are kind of poking around at Cotto and pointing their finger at him saying, tisk, tisk, you should not be doing this. Speak on it.
Well, I thought about this a lot, and at first I was a little upset. But then I thought about it, and I'm thinking, what's he doing? So, Miguel Cotto, this, of course, would obviously be good article topic, but Miguel Cotto is what I'm now liking to call tipping the scale. He obviously has been more business-minded. That's why he went with the new promotional company. He's now focused on training and training life as a boxer. That's why he's with Freddie Roach. From the business perspective, he's choosing the Floyd Mayweather aspect. and that's where I call it tipping the scale. There's a few advantages for him to do these catch weights. Number one, he can not just parade just that one weight. By going in between kind of there, he can, go between 154 to 160. So he stays in between, so he's ready for big money fights that come from either direction. Those are both prime real estate in the sport of boxing right now, both of those weights. At 154 mainly, but then up at 160 and any weight in between in case you catch a guy like Canelo who also is wanting to do catch weights all of a sudden. It also gives him the advantage of when he is facing a fighter, and this is where the reality of tipping the scale comes into play. When he is facing a type of fighter, he has the advantage of bringing them to a level where they're uncomfortable, and he's more comfortable at. Therefore, that allows him to produce the kind of performance that he's looking to produce. Now, will Miguel Cotto have issues with Daniel Gale? I would doubt it. I would think at this level he would be able to beat Daniel Gale. But at which weight, at which cost, at which weight is he going to have the best performance? So that's where he's kind of tipping the scale there. He wants him to come down to an uncomfortable weight for him. Therefore, when they do fight on fight night, he's able to dictate the fight and have a dominant performance. Just like he did with Sergio Martinez. It was very strategic when he kind of tipped that scale, so to speak, because he knew Sergio was coming off of an injury, off of surgery, and there's no real telling on how he's going to be. And with that performance, everybody says that Miguel Cotto's, at a bigger level than he's ever been. Thus, we all agree that the injury had a lot to do with that. So that's really what he's doing, is he's tipping the scale just as Floyd Mayweather would do. Now, with him doing that, now he's able to pick and choose which fights he wants. So if he does fight a guy like Canelo, and this is why that fight has not been made and has been tried to be negotiated, because Miguel Cotto is now at the level where he feels he needs to dictate those negotiations. So he chooses which weight, he chooses which arena, he chooses which gloves, he chooses which announcer. He's trying to tip the scales. That's what he's simply trying to do.
We know what he's trying to do, Rob. I think you're giving us a long political answer. What we're asking is more if you think it's right, basically, or what's your take on it? I mean, okay,
absolutely.
My only question then, and my only response would be, is at some point they at least should defend the belt at the actual weight. Now, I have no problem with the catch weight. I have no problem with the catch weight if it's to make a fight happen. Canelo Mayweather, although Mayweather had just fought at 154, and I still think he should have came to 154, if that's what makes the fight happen, by all means. But at least he actually fought at 154. Miguel Cotto has yet to fight at 160. Do you not see a problem with that?
No, because the way the sport is. That's the problem. Miguel Cotto's not the problem. Floyd Mayweather set the precedent on that, and all the boxing is following that. Catchweights are a thing now. Canelo does it. Cotto does it. Eventually Triple G is going to have to probably do it. All the top guys to get these big-name fighters are all going to have to start doing that. That's the way the sport is.
This is in my opinion, this is wrong with boxing. I mean, it's just the bullshit politics and the whack ass divas that we got in the sport. I mean, I don't have an issue with catch weights the way how Lucas stated. I don't have a deal with catch weights when it's just a boxing exhibition match, but when it's a legitimate world title fight, I mean, you gotta fight. You gotta respect what the sport means. You gotta respect what the sport stands for. You gotta fight and defend at the divisions, at the weight limits that you have titles in. I mean, the whole on the A side, B side. I mean, that's what's wrong with boxing. If people talk about, oh, you know, the level, the playing field has to be level, then be level. There is no A or fucking B side. This is where the sanctioning bodies have to grow some fucking nuts and lay the law and say, no, you're the WBC 160-pound champion. You're fighting at 160 pounds. You're not fucking putting any, you know, bitch-ass limitations. Oh, you know, I'm a small guy. Fight me. If you want my middleweight title, fight me at 150, whatever. No, that's bullshit. The sanctioning bodies, they need to grow a pair, and they need to let these divas know what's up. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I don't like the fact that Miguel Cotto is using the excuse, oh, well, I fought catchweight back then. Now it's my turn. Man, this is lame. Fight at 160. You're the legitimate champion at 160. Fight at 160.
Okay, but let me ask you this:
and I agree.
Hang on. Hold on. Will you not watch Miguel Cotto versus Canelo because it's at 156, 157?
If it's, I mean, I'm gonna watch it, but that doesn't.
So then, what's the problem?
Rob. What you're talking about, though, is a 154-pound fighter coming up to 160. Therefore, the catchweight makes sense. You're talking about Daniel Geale, who weighs 160, and Miguel Cotto, who has a belt at 160. Therefore, there should be no catchweight. That's what doesn't make sense.
But
so,
that's the negotiation part of it. Who cares which way it's at? That's between those fighters.
And
is Daniel Geale going to turn him down? No, because he wants that fight. He wants that money. Miguel Cotto is the money.
But no, I don't understand the commission. Go ahead.
Now I was going to say that's what's wrong with the sport. Commissions sanctioning bodies shouldn't be allowing that fighters dictating that type of negotiations. You're talking about Floyd is a perfect example. He always talks about having a level playing field. Well, how the fuck are you going to have a level playing field when you know you're fighting somebody at a so-called division, but you're making that fighter go down in weight? I mean, dude's a natural 160-pounder. The commissions, the sanctioning body should step in and say, no, Miguel, you're a champion at 160. Fight the fucking title at 160, or else we're stripping you from the title. Make the fucking fight. Make it at one whatever, but you're not going to defend our title at that catchweight. That's what the sanctioning bodies need to do. I mean,
Daniel Geale isn't going to get no money, no more money for doing that because they stripped the title from Cotto and give it to Daniel Geale because he didn't make weight. How is that benefiting Daniel Geale? He's not going to get the money for not fighting just because Cotto decided not to fight him at that weight. He's going to benefit more for taking the money and going down to that weight.
Honestly, I don't know if Miguel Cotto would fight anyone at 160 at this point. If he's not willing to fight Daniel Geale,
he said he wouldn't already. He said that if anybody wants to fight him for the middleweight title, it's going to be a catchweight.
Exactly.
and that's my point, though. It's not the belt. It's not the belt. It's a catch belt. You know what I mean? That's the point of the belt.
I really think Cotto realizes he's not big enough for the division. He's just not. I mean, he took advantage of a situation where he had a fading champion, and he won his fourth title or in the fourth weight class, and now I seriously think he'll have some trouble with Geale. I don't think it's going to be anything like the Triple G fight. But I mean, I understand. I understand when you're moving up in weight. You know, like Algieri was his first move up to welterweight when he fought Pacquiao, and they fought at 143. Like, you know, situation like that, I understand. But when you're the legitimate WBC middleweight champion. You fight at 160. It's just the way it is. You're the legitimate middleweight champion. Like, it just doesn't seem right to me, and it's not right anytime. Like the Floyd Mayweather Canelo, that wasn't right either. I mean, he'd already beat Cotto at 154. He obviously could do it, but I don't know. I just don't think it's right. At any time.
I agree, but the problem now is even the sanctioning bodies, that hold these belts. Number one, they don't hold any rules, and even if they did, what are they going to do? Vacate the damn belt, because the belts really don't mean shit anyway, and it's all about the money. However, just like Rudy was saying with Mayweather, he always says he wants to fight somebody on an even playing field. I'm sorry, but no one has fought that man on an even playing field.
He retracted that.
Since at least before Oscar De La Hoya.
He retracted that, kind of.
Even if he does retract that, I don't care, because he has in negotiations what kind of damn shoes you can wear. No, man, them laces are too tight. You're going to have to loosen that up. You know what I mean? This shit's ridiculous, okay? I'm sorry, how are you going to be on an even playing field when you can negotiate every single detail? You can negotiate the ring size. If you put in Mayweather and Pacquiao in a ring size, like I see up in Chicago in the Hammond for the hit boxing, I think it's a completely different fight. Pacquiao may even knock him out because he has nowhere to run. However, you put him in a 24-foot by 24-foot ring, he's got room to move, room to do what he does best. It's completely the sanctioning bodies need to step in and standardize the sport. Say, okay, if you want to fight for the WBC belt, it's going to be in this size ring, this pair of gloves even, if you have to. At least then everything's a clean slate, everything's on even playing field. The only difference is going to be money, and that you should earn by your fan base. That's only fair.
It's crazy. It's crazy how in our sport, right, in the beautiful sport of boxing, it's one of the obviously what makes the sport boxing glove. I mean, there is no fucking regulation behind boxing gloves. I mean, pretty much. I mean, I could fucking just take any type of glove. If I'm the world champion, I mean, I could take any type of glove. Shit could be made out of fucking grass and leaves, but because I'm the champion, you know what I mean? The sanctioning bodies will say, all right, cool, we could use that glove. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it needs to get. This is when, kind of like Teddy Atlas go on his rants and talk about how we have a bunch of crooks running our sport, and it needs to get, some kind of government regulation. And I mean, things like that, like negotiating, just like basics behind a boxing match, those things need to be regulated. I mean, there shouldn't be an A side, B side. I mean, okay, have the A side, B side when it comes down to like sponsorships and who televises what and shit like that, but not things that's going to tip, the balance in the playing field. It just shouldn't be allowed, regardless. I don't care if you're Puerto Rican, if you're Mexican, if you're black, if you're white. It needs to be a level playing field.
Man, I agree.
Yeah, I understand, A side, B side in terms of, who comes out first and who's announced last, just stuff like that. But when it comes to like affecting, the integrity of a fight, it's not right.
Right. I mean, in comparison in football, Tom Brady, the whole Deflategate deal. I mean, he can negotiate that. Well, I'll just take out some air. You have to use my balls that are deflated a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be allowed. That's not allowed in other sports. You're messing with the integrity of the game. But apparently, boxing has no integrity, or it has severely diminished over the years. Now, Hector, let me come to you with this question. With this, well, we can come back to it, Rob. Hang on. It's still on the same topic, but Miguel Cotto and Daniel Geale, this fight is in serious danger, is it not? With the weight?
Well, according to what I saw a picture yesterday that said Cotto was at 163 and Geale was at 167.5. And the fight's this Saturday, so, I mean, he's going to have to do some serious – he's going to have to lose a limb or something, man, because it's going to be tough. You know, he's going to be – I mean, if he does make the weight, he's going to be pretty drained. So, yeah.
I mean, and if he doesn't make the weight, though, I think Cotto could potentially cancel. I'm sorry. Rudy, go ahead.
I was gonna say we could possibly see a 160-pound fight if Cotto doesn't make his own weight.
I mean, I could actually see Cotto not making it this time, considering, but I doubt it. I mean, he'll come in, but I'm more worried about the fight not getting made, but or Cotto denying if he's too much, or putting a rehydration limit, which is almost worse. But go ahead, Rob, with what you were going to say.
I can see all of those happening. I can see, well, Miguel Cotto's going to make weight. We all know that. He's going to make weight. Geale might not. I mean, if he does, like Hector said, he's going to be very dehydrated. There's going to be a problem with his performance, of course. Miguel Cotto's going to look dominant. That's what he wanted. But what you guys are upset about, I totally get and understand what you're saying. Boxing has changed. It moved from sanctioning bodies running, which they're still there, but Mayweather changed it a little bit there, where Miguel Cotto is following suit, to where it's about the fighter, the A side, so to speak. We'll use Miguel Cotto's word. It's about the A side. What I don't understand, though, well, I understand it. You guys don't like it. You feel that it's a disadvantage in a fight. You want to see a fair fight. I get that. I understand that. I'm for it. I like that. If a fighter wants to go in and say, hey, it's my career. It's my career on the line. It's my livelihood. This is what I do. I'm bringing the money. Daniel Geale has a choice. He has a choice not to sign the dotted line. He has a choice not to do that. But, of course, he's going to take the money and he's going to sign the dotted line. He agreed to those terms. It is what it is. Nobody put a gun to his head and said, you have to take this fight. I don't have a problem in the sport of boxing. With fighters taking control of the sport themselves. Because boxing is unlike... Hold on, let me finish. Yes. Boxing is unlike any other sport out there. It's not team-oriented. It doesn't have a team thing. It's completely, when you're in the ring, it's you and that other guy, period. It's you and the other guy. And it's your choice to sign the dotted line to take those risks. You know what those risks are that you take. If you think the money's worth it and you're going to do it, then so be it. That's your fault.
The problem now, though,
because that's the way the sport is.
The problem now, though, is that if let's say he says okay, and Geale does as you suggest and says, you know what, I can't make that weight, or I don't think I should fight for the middleweight title at a catchweight. And everybody follows suit with Daniel Geale. Everybody keeps saying that. He's essentially holding the WBC belt at ransom, and the WBC is not doing shit about it. That is the true problem, what we're talking about with the sport.
But Rob, okay, what's every fighter's goal when they get in the game of boxing? Their goal is to win a title. And Cotto has got a title. He's got the middleweight title. So obviously Geale wants to win that title. So, I mean, yeah, he doesn't have to sign the dotted line, but, he's the WBC middleweight champ. So,
I understand. And I'm not, and I understand your point. I do. Me, on the other hand, I think of it differently. I'm thinking of if I'm Miguel Cotto, I'm thinking in his shoes, because that's the type of fan that I am. I'm an Al Heyman fan anyway, so I'm one of those guys that you guys all hate. Okay? Because that's the way I feel. That's the way I feel. If you're Michael Jordan in professional basketball, Michael Jordan can't make up the rules. You know, he can't. In boxing, you can. And I'm all for that. That's what saying that I'm sorry. I'm the bad guy. I root for the bad guy in the sport of boxing. So
and I mean,
it's
not new. It's not new. You know, when Chavez was reigning, you know, the rings were definitely smaller. You know, I mean, it's not something, you know, the whole weight thing, yeah, it is a little bit, but it's not something that totally came out when Floyd was around. It's something that's been going on for a while. But
that's because the sport is not regulated. I mean, like I'm saying, it's boxing is run to the benefit of those that are making the big money in it, and it shouldn't be
it's
like
ran
that.
by
it's
money,
like,
period, Rudy. Right, it's
yeah,
ran by money.
It doesn't make it right, though. That's what I'm saying. If it's a competition, I mean, the competition has to be regulated. Then why do, if that's going to be the case, then why do we make a fucking big deal when someone gets caught using head? You know what I mean? They're tipping the playing field at their favor. So is all these diva negotiations, size of the ring, the size of the glove, what type of groin protector you could use. All this, it's not fair. It's not keeping the competition level. So then, if that's the case, then fighters should be allowed to use fucking performance enhancement drugs, and you know, that I guess that's going to be the next move.
Well, let me ask you this, Rudy. If you go back to what it was before and you have these sanctioning bodies, money passes hands through these sanctioning bodies, just like you see in FIFA, so to speak, okay? And back in the day, this has happened. Somebody gets bumped up in the rankings that has no damn business being there and gets a title fight just to get the money because their people paid these sanctioning bodies to do so. So all these sanctioning bodies and these, you know, WBC, WBAs, IBFs, all these have the control, and the greed starts happening in that organization again, and then all the boxers get screwed. So now it's reversed. These boxers come up and say, I'm the prize fighter here, so it's going to be in my hands. That's why I don't have a problem with it, because either way you throw it out there, it's going to be corrupt either way.
Yes, of course it's going to be corrupt, but I think more what we're saying is that it even needs to be regulated. Somebody needs to be watching over the commission. Somebody needs to step in to do something, because these sanctioning bodies, and I'm going to touch on Canelo, so don't get mad at me, Rudy. But
I don't even know if Rudy's a Canelo fan anymore.
But Canelo has the belt, okay? He fought Ryan, Jose Cotto, a whole bunch of no names for 5 or 6 fights. Why he has the belt? You cannot tell me that these guys were contenders. So yes, what you're saying as far as the sanctioning bodies was already going on. This is always going to happen. It's more like just the stores. It needs to be standardized and set rules in place, set contenders, tournament bracket. Something needs to change. And believe it or not, I think Heyman is at least on to something. I don't like how he's going about it, but the PBC is going to become the UFC of boxing. He's going to have his own belt, I'm sure of it, and he's going to have his own little system set up to where he will have number one contenders and, an actual ranking system. And it'll be a boxing league, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just the way he went about doing it was pretty messed up. But we need to go on from this, because we could stay in a circle all day. So no more talk about that. But let's go ahead and go on to our predictions real quick. I see Geale coming in very, very weak if he's able to make weight at all. So the fight could either get canceled or Cotto is going to beat up on a very dehydrated Geale, which he will even then still struggle and manage to eke out a unanimous decision victory. But, Rob?
Struggle?
You heard
I think for both predictions, I think Daniel Geale doesn't make weight, but he's obviously going to be dehydrated because he's going to try his damnedest to make it. He's going to be a pound or two off. Him showing that he's dehydrated and weak is exactly what Miguel wants. The fight's going to go on as planned, and Miguel dominates and gets his ass out of there in the later rounds. I think he stops him. It's either going to be a referee stoppage or a clean... I think it's going to be a referee stoppage or Daniel Geale quits like he did against Triple G in the eighth round.
All right. Rudy?
Where Daniel Geale from where? From Australia or New Zealand?
Australia.
What can I buy an Australian flag?
What do you say?
Where can I buy an Australian flag?
I'm gonna go buy one. I'm gonna go wrap myself with it when I watch this fight. I'm rooting for Geale. I mean, obviously they're taking this dude. They're trying to out hustle him even before he steps into the ring. Unfortunately, the way how boxing is, I mean, the dude, you could probably say his arm is being twisted to find the dotted line. I mean, he's a competitor. He's gonna fight regardless. Obviously, they're taking advantage of his will to fight, his will to set Daniel Geale's legacy, and I mean obviously he's gonna accept those terms. I mean, but I do see I see Miguel Cotto probably outworking him, and if he does make weight, obviously that's gonna affect his performance come fight night. Like you guys said, I mean, dude's going to be dehydrated. He's not going to be probably 100% on fight night. And honestly, Miguel Cotto, he's a future Hall of Famer. He's been there with all the tough dudes, and he's going to outwork him and out-hustle him. But still, I'm a root for Daniel Geale.
Hey, Rudy, if Daniel Geale wins, I'm going to buy you a case of Foster's every month for life.
Hey, you guys are my winners.
Hey, all right, Hector.
Okay. Assuming he makes weight, I see Cotto having some trouble, man. I think Geale's just a natural middleweight. He's a pretty good boxer. Everyone always just goes on the performance against Triple G. I mean, if you remember, before the Darren Barker fight, he was seen as the third best middleweight in the division.
Right.
He's not a pushover. I see Cotto winning, but I see him having some trouble, and it'll probably go to a decision. I don't see this being a knockout. That's the way I see it.
I mean, the only reason Cotto got a knockout at 160 was because Sergio Martinez couldn't stand on his own two damn feet. A strong breeze would have knocked Martinez down that night.
That was a hell of a punch, though.
I'm just going to say that. But going on to PBC on NBC this Saturday, I got to say the main event is atrocious. Robert Guerrero taking on Aaron Martinez does not sit well with me. But, I mean, I don't assume any of you are going to pick Robert Guerrero. But the undercard is actually better with Jesus Cellular taking on Victor Chinian. I think that's going to be a very entertaining fight, and I'm looking more forward to that than the main event. But they push Robert Guerrero pretty hard. They really want him to be a superstar. I don't understand quite why. I honestly think the Cellular Darchinian would be a much better main event. What are your guys' take on that?
No, there's a lot of fights. PBC's trying to push out as many fights as they can. Guerrero just came off of a tough loss to Thurman. Thurman's not even fighting again yet. He's fighting a little later in the next month or two. And for them to push Guerrero right back out there, you think they're trying to make him a superstar. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I don't understand why they're working him to death like this. The guy needs to take a break from these tough fights like this. D'Artagnan, you know how I feel about D'Artagnan. He needs to quit. I'm sick of seeing him. He does good for like 5 fights, and then he gets his ass knocked out. Does good for 5 fights, then he gets knocked out.
It makes him exciting to me. But what's going on with HBO? I mean, Miguel Cotto, Cotto-Geale, you can't put on an undercard? Not one fight? It's just going to be Cotto-Geale and then off air? It's kind of strange.
They might fill it with something. They might. Knowing them, they've got HBO has something coming up probably in between there.
All right. Well, we've hit most of our topics for tonight, but I wanted to talk with you guys about last Friday's fight between Algieri and Amir Khan. Now, there's a lot of mixed reviews from different boxing media. I want to set ours firmly in place. Of course, we all have different opinions, though, so it's going to be a very broad opinion on that fight. I can already bet that you, Rob, are definitely going to say that Khan looked impressive. However, I guarantee you some of the rest of us are going to say differently. Rudy, what was your take on his performance as far as Friday night went?
Sorry, can you repeat? I wasn't...
Amir Khan's performance. How do you feel?
Amir Khan's performance, against Algieri.
I mean, it turned out to be a good fight. I mean, I mean, when I saw the fight live, I kind of saw it as a draw. I mean, both guys were there to get hit. Both got hit. I mean, it definitely. I mean, it gives me a whole different perspective behind Chris Algieri. I mean, the dude is obviously an underestimated a boxer. I mean, he has the boxing skills. He's not afraid to dish it out when he has to. I mean, we already know what Khan does. You know, to be honest, I was surprised. I mean, I kind of inside me, I kind of felt that Khan was probably gonna use his experience and his advantage and probably, you know, stop him in the late rounds. But I mean, it was a very competitive fight, and to me, I mean, some of those cards were ridiculous. I mean, I saw an even fight. I saw a draw in the fight.
I also saw very close. Now, I did still have Amir Khan winning, but 115-113 at best for Khan. I did not see a 117-111 card, and I was not impressed. I mean, he got rocked several times by Chris Algieri, who's got a total of seven knockouts?
Eight.
If that.
8 knockouts.
Eight knockouts.
Yeah.
One off. But, I mean, it's somebody who you know, it just goes to show that he cannot hang with the 147 guys. Porter, even Bronner will knock this dude completely out. He cannot handle power, and he has no defense, even though Virgil Hunter supposedly, you know, thinks that he has changed him. No, he's the same damn fighter that he was with Freddie Roach, except now with less head movement, which means he's going to get caught even more. I'm sorry, I'm not impressed with Khan. If anything, he's went downhill since Virgil Hunter has taken him over. And he's going to continue to lose as he goes up the ladder. But that's my take.
There's rumors that he might get rid of Virgil Hunter because you know, he tends to do that when he has not a great performance. But he said he felt overtrained and that he's going to be more in charge of what goes on in training. So sounds like they're not doing too well right now. But I thought Khan won. 115-113 sounds pretty good to me, but you know, he's there to be hit, man. He's there he's there to be knocked out, man. Algieri has no power, and he caught him clean throughout the entire fight. And you know, you put a guy like Thurman in there, I think it's a short night, man. I don't see him I don't know. I don't see him being at the top of the division anytime soon.
Yes, and Rob kind of said he should be at the top pound for pound, but I want to kind of come back to another comment that you made. He said he felt a little overtrained. You know what? When you feel overtrained, that means your damn trainer and your damn coach is doing his job. You should feel overtrained.
Right.
I guarantee you, when Ann Wolfe was kicking Kirkland's ass all the time, I bet you he fucking felt overtrained, but when he stepped in the ring, that some bitch was ready. But
where'd you hear that at, Hector? Hector, where'd you hear that at?
Don't put him on the spot.
It was on Twitter somewhere. I don't know. It was
right.
where the boxing was. Yeah.
He don't feel overtrained. He doesn't. Virgil Hunter's been trying to instill in him, what he was trying to instill in him in that fight is exactly what came out. He wanted that dog to come out. If you want Mayweather, you're gonna have to be overtrained. You're gonna have to get that dog to come out. You're gonna have to be overmatched. You're gonna have to be frustrated. All those things came into play. I have to give Lucas credit because, and I have to apologize to Chris Algieri because I dogged him. I've been dogging him prior to the Manny fight, and Lucas said the exact same thing that needed to happen. If he got a real legitimate trainer, he would be good. You saw that happen. He has a legitimate trainer now. He's taking well to that change. The problem is he just changed and fought a guy at an elite status like Amir Khan. You're not going to win that fight. You're just now adjusting to the change. The change that they're adjusting to, power. He's trying to bring power into Chris Algieri. You can see that. Virgil Hunter told Amir Khan during that fight, he's just trying to land one good punch. That's that power coming into play. They're working on something new over there. It doesn't happen overnight. Look for Algieri to be a force in the division up and coming if he stays the course, which I believe he can do. This is what I do all day. I love taking fights like this and breaking them down because they give you a lot. They show you a lot. Not a lot of fighters out there right now have performances like this consistently. Amir Khan has these performances racked up now consistently. Lucas, you say there's a problem with Virgil Hunter. Has he lost since he has Virgil Hunter? No, he hasn't. Has he looked good all the time? A while back when he first transitioned, like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. Now that he's transitioned well, he's not leaving Virgil Hunter. He's winning, and he's staying at that elite level. That's top pound for pound. The guys that have the notoriety like this, that do good, that show up in the ring and show the second level. They show they're a level or a level above the competition, no matter what they face. You think he showed weakness because he got hit? He got hit by a guy who's working on power, and he took that power, and he still dished out a dominant performance. So
working on power being the key word.
How many big punchers has he faced since Danny Garcia? I mean, there's a reason why he can take these shots. I mean, some guys never develop that power, no matter how much you work it. 8 knockouts is 8 knockouts. I mean, I don't know. I'd say
the elite level in that division being Floyd ain't knocking nobody out.
Well, you got one fight.
But Floyd ain't knocking nobody out. That's the level that he has to stay with. Devin Alexander's not knocking anybody out.
Man,
Keith Thurman ain't knocking nobody out no more.
If Algieri can catch him, Mayweather can put him out. And you don't hear me say that very much, especially about Mayweather. But let me go back here and just go through some of these. Carlos Molina got so many knockouts, 7. And I'm sure these aren't against the greatest of opposition either. Because every time we've seen that Carlos Molina step up, he loses.
Well, he's a lightweight, right?
Yeah,
Carlos Molina's a natural lightweight. I mean, it's
natural lightweight. Julio Diaz,
championship fighter.
he does have some knockouts there. He's got 29, but guess what? Amir Khan almost lost to him and got put on his ass. And championship fighter, maybe caliber, but he's more of a gatekeeper, Rob.
I'm talking about Carlos Molina.
You're thinking of a different Carlos Molina then. you're thinking of
he fought the other
the
Carlos.
junior.
Okay.
Yeah, you're thinking of the junior middleweight.
Gotcha.
And then, if he ends up fighting Sean Porter or Thurman, I'm with Hector. I don't think he can win. But I will give Khan this. Maybe it's a plan. Maybe he's saying, hey, look at me. I'm weak to Chris Algieri. As in, like, Mayweather, hey, look, you can win. If that's his plan, then it worked out great for him. Because I do believe Mayweather might take the fight now. But I don't want to see it. To be honest, just like Rudy said before, I'll reinstate it again. Now that Mayweather-Pacquiao is come and done, they could both retire. I really don't give a damn anymore. That's where I'm at. But
honestly, I have Brooke over Khan. If they do go at it, I think he's a better all-around fighter. He's better, more disciplined, just defensively, and he's a hell of a boxer.
I don't believe that Khan.
I have Khan.
I don't believe that Khan would allow it to happen. I don't think Khan's going to take that fight. What were you going to say, Rob?
As of right now, I have Khan over Brock, but I do really like Brock. His performances that he's been doing is up to the level that it should be. He should be knocking Frankie Gavin out. And he did. He should be knocking, the previous fighter he fought out, and he did. So I really, in terms of stock goes, right now might be the time to buy Kell Brock. He fights Amir Khan, sell him.
I'd like to see the fight. Hopefully it gets made, but we're just about out of time. I want to thank Hammer and Hank Lundy and Mauricio Herrera for both coming on the show and being good sports about it. For Robert Alexander, Hector Gomez, Rudy Gutierrez, this was Lucas Biggers, and this was Tough Talk Tuesday. Join us again next week.